Hello and welcome to this week's live stream. We have a very special guest today. His name is Kabir. He's a cruise director amongst many other things. So if you have ever had any questions for cruise directors, I know I've had plenty. We're going to answer them during this live stream. He is not here right at this second, but he is in a car. He is on his way and he is going to join us for this live stream. I was talking to him recently. We were recording a podcast and we kind of got chatting after the live stream, having a conversation like this. And I thought, this is very interesting. You know, we should let everybody else in on this conversation. So that is our plan for our live stream today. I am absolutely melting in a brick-built house, no air conditioning, 35 degrees Celsius. I've got all the curtains closed, so we're sat in the dark doing this live stream. I've got fans on both sides, and I'm going to do my best, but it is pretty warm. Hello to everybody who is in the chat. It is nice to see you. Nice to see so many names I recognize. Ooh, we do not have Marcus in here first today. Congratulations on overtaking Marcus. Sean was in here pretty soon, and John was in here too. Normally, we can rely on Marcus to be the first person. Not that it's a competition, but I know Sean and Kevin and Marcus and John like to be here as soon as they can. If you do have a question for us, if you can start it with question in capital letters, that will massively help us to find out what is a question and what is just everybody talking. The conversation does go very fast, but we're going to do the best we can. Hello to my mum who's in the chat. It is my dad's birthday today, so if everyone could say happy birthday to Emma's dad, that would be very cool. Yeah, Kabir is 8 days late to our live stream. Yes, we were originally planning on having him on the live last week, but he got his time zones wrong, and we've all got our time zones wrong. I mostly felt bad on that live stream, knowing how bad he would feel when he realized that he'd missed the live stream. And I was completely right. We have little voice note conversations and things, and he sent me the messages saying, oh my goodness, oh, I'm so sorry. But it's okay. I think if anything, it's made him seem more mysterious, right? He's like built up his presence so much. And I've been saying, you know, how interesting he is for the last couple of weeks. So yeah, exciting. All the happy birthday Emma's dad comments. Thank you to Phil and Carol and Sue and everybody in the chat. Yes. Exciting. David says, have you ever cruised or will you cruise to South America? I have not. I'd love to. I would love to. I have not yet though. Yeah, Tony says it's that temperature all the time in Los Angeles. It is. You guys have air conditioning and you don't live in a middle of a brick house designed to keep in this heat. Oh. Thank you, Dale, for my super chat. And it says, here's your contribution to the Emma, Tony and Don Cruise Fund. Thank you very much. I forgot that was a fund. To be honest, I would love to cruise with Tony and Don, and I definitely will at some point. I haven't got a plan at the minute, but I would prefer to just see, oh, Don's nearby, Tony's nearby. I'll just hop on that cruise. I think that would be a good plan. We did kind of have a plan for a celebrity cruise, but they are expensive. That was out of my budget, the cruise that they had planned. Yeah, exciting news. Me and my dad are taking the bike cruise again next year. We're booked on, so that's very exciting. I spent all of my last cruise thinking, my dad would absolutely love this. This is absolutely set up for my dad. If you've not seen my last video, it's about a bike and barge cruise I took across Germany. And I'm very excited, but it does mean I have to keep cycling. That is the only thing. And to be honest, I mean, I haven't been back on a bike since I got back. It's too hot. But it will keep me doing that, and I'm looking forward to it. So happy birthday to my dad. Oh, we have people in here from all over the world, which is very cool. Kevin says, great hair. Thank you very much. It can spike up if it wants to right now, which is cool. Almost getting to like I would say an on-purpose haircut now. Nearly. Hello, James. It is Jelly from the Loca fam and an Emmalite. Thank you so much, James. Appreciate that. It's very kind of you. I know you often come in here and say it's Jello from the Loca fam and an Emmalite. I do like that one. There's my dad. He says little sunglasses and a little bike. Dad, you will love that one. We're going earlier in the year next year. Still in Germany, but I think it will be cooler. We picked the hottest weekend in 40 years or something to do this cycling cruise. We didn't plan that. We didn't know that was going to happen. The cruise had been planned about, 18 months, but that's just how it worked out. Martin says, greetings from London, 33 degrees and 37 over the weekend. No rain for 6 weeks. Where I am, down in the south of London, it looks like it's going to rain all week from the weekend. So I think we're going to get that rain. David says, what flavor squash today? So I have two answers to this. You won't be able to tell the difference, but I have this one, which is apple and blackcurrant. And then I have this one, which is summer fruits, because one drink for this hour is not enough. I am so warm, so warm. David says, where's cruise director? Cruise director Kabir is on the way. He just sent me a message from his car. Because this was rescheduled, I kind of said, do you want to come on last minute on my Friday, trying to get it back onto the schedule. But I think he will be here any minute. I did test the link because I can send out a link so that people can join these live streams. And I thought, you guys always want to see Hudson. So maybe at some point I'll set up like a Hudson cam and then we can have Hudson as a guest. Maybe we could do that. I think that would be pretty cool. Oh, hello, Jenny. Hello. Hello, Mike. Yes. Exciting. I am taking a cruise soon with my dad, which is very exciting. It's my mum and dad's wedding anniversary cruise. Their wedding anniversary was about 18 months ago, but you know how things happen with COVID and stuff in the last couple of years. So finally getting on that cruise. Looking forward to it. Martin says, no ice in your drink. No ice in my... I don't have any ice in my freezer, so there's no ice in my drink. My freezer is like where it's only the bottom half of a... I don't have room for ice. It's not the priority. It's all iced up, I suppose. I should de-ice it, but I don't have any. Anna says, now that you've seen most of the world, I won't go that far, but thanks, Anna. Do you choose your cruises based on ships and lines rather than itinerary? A bit of both. I'll choose a region based on I want to do this itinerary. Say I want to go to Norway. I want to go to Norway. Then I'll look at which cruise lines are there, which ships are there, and then I'll kind of, it's rare I would say I need to go to this specific port. I kind of let that be decided by the cruise line and whatever's happening. Oh, Tony. Tony laid my dad to rest today. I'm sorry to hear that, Tony. Thank you for bringing me light today. You are welcome. I just try and do these live streams as kind of a safe corner of the internet for an hour. And if people want to pop in and go, then I appreciate it. But sorry to hear that, Tony. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, lots of hearts for Tony. Sean is going on Enchanted Princess on Tuesday. Amazing. Confused by the COVID test rules. So as far as I know, on the Princess website, it says if you're cruising from the UK, you just need to agree that you've had a COVID test and it's negative. You don't need to show them the certificate anymore. It doesn't need to be observed. It just needs to be, it's just another box on that health declaration, just saying yes. Yeah, no, nothing. Do not worry. If you search Princess Cruises from the UK, COVID rules, it'll come up. The bottom top frequently asked questions is the one where I found that, but they have also emailed it around. I found it, I think my dad found it actually a day before Princess told us, but yes. Thank you for the nice comments, guys. If you do have a question, if you can start it with question in capital letters, just so I can pick them out. As happy as I am just to read nice messages like this one from Dale about my cruise course. Thank you very much. And cruise videos are awesome. Appreciate it. It's very nice of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, cruise boys are in Santorini. Absolutely amazing. Took a cruise from Athens, Celebrity Beyond. Everyone is all very, very envious about it. If you want to be envious, check out this. I mean, cruise boys, I'm just so envious of you guys. Celebrity Beyond looks absolutely fantastic. So good. But it's not really in my budget, I've got to be honest. Lisa says, have you been on a Fred Olsen ship before? I have not. I have made conscious efforts to consider Fred Olsen cruises. I've just never got them yet. It's just never been the right time and the right place. But I think I would like it. It's not aimed at me, a Fred Olsen cruise. I think it's a much kind of older market, much more traditional, kind of relaxed. But I think it would work. I think I could make that work. I think it would be really nice. Givens has the link to my cruise course. Thank you very much. I am going to be relaunching this in October, I think, with a live element to it. So at the minute, it's just a standalone video course, 4 chapters. You watch them yourself. And then we're going to be adding in more live streams and relaunching it in October because there's a lot in there. I get a lot of questions about it. Oh, hello, Heather. During work, I love the fact that people watch these during work or listen to these during work or in the car. It's crazy, crazy cool. What are your thoughts on the rollback of COVID restrictions on cruises in the United States? I am so happy when I see a cruise line's removed the observed test. I don't mind doing the test, but having to do observed tests is an absolute pain. Imagine I fly somewhere, no masks, no test for the plane. The country I'm going to doesn't care. The only bit that's left is cruising, and I think it's just a matter of time before we stop testing. And I welcome it. I mean, I've got COVID on a cruise, so I know that that's a risk. But it just doesn't make sense to me anymore. So I'm happy when they remove those. Have you ever been totally grumpy on a cruise? You constantly seem to be really okay with problems. That's a compliment, I think. I think if you're grumpy on a cruise, something's gone wrong. You shouldn't be grumpy on a cruise. It's better than not being on a cruise. Oh, I see Kabir. He is backstage. He's waving at me. Let's just get straight into it. I've already said lovely things about you, Kabir, I promise. So I don't think I need to introduce you again. Hopefully this will work. I'm gonna put you on the screen, okay? Okay. Did it work?
I think it worked.
Oh my goodness, I can see you. I can hear you. Hopefully everybody else can. Oh, thank you for joining us. It's nice to talk to you.
Oh, absolutely. There, good? I just did a little bit of a twirl. I'm doing acrobatics. But I'm so happy to be here, everyone. Sorry for the delay. I was coming in straight from the studio today, and quite a bit of traffic.
Yeah, no, I mean, that you're a busy guy. I was just listing off all of the things you do. Like, you're a YouTuber, you're a podcaster, you're a cruise director, you do the weather. Like, you have so many different kind of skills. I don't know if you want to just give people an introduction into kind of which cruise lines you worked in, how you got into cruise directing. That would be great.
Absolutely. I'm comfy here on my couch. So hello, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. And of course, for being here. Basically, I am Kabir. I'm a cruise director, and I'm also a TV host, podcaster, YouTuber, as Emma said. I've worked on multiple different cruise lines. So I started off at Carnival, went over to P&O Australia, Marella Cruises, and I did work for Celebrity as well. They were my very first cruise line that I worked with. So I've been cruise director since 2000. And when did I become cruise director first? 2016, I think. 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, so that right up until the pandemic, and I absolutely love I've done a couple of cruises, actually not a couple. I've done a number of cruises. I've done 38 to date as a guest.
Okay.
And most of them before I worked on a ship. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah. How did you get into that? Your first cruise directing job? I speak to people who fellow cruise directors, and they all seem to have come from the most random jobs. I've never spoken to a cruise director who was like, I grew up, I wanted to be a cruise director, I made an effort. It's always like, oh, I was auditioning to be Mickey Mouse, and now I'm cruise director. Like, so random.
No, that's not. I think for me, it's. I'm going to move this a little closer because I feel like I'm so far away. But basically, how this worked was my very first cruise, and Emma, you and I had actually discussed this. We had my first cruise was on a ship called the Sunbird. It was when I was 6 years old. It was in the Mediterranean. Now it used to be Song of America with Royal Caribbean. Now it's Celestial Olympia. So I hope to get back out there and try that ship. But we sailed on that ship. I was 6 years old, and from there, subsequently, my family would take a cruise a year. So by the time I got to 8, 9, 10 years old, I'm like, that's a cool job. You know, it was always in my mind. I was in a relationship for a while in my late teen years, and I thought, no, maybe I should do something else because, you know, I'm in a relationship. That's going to be hard to work on a cruise ship. Well, after that ended, a few weeks later, I sent a message to a friend of mine, and I was like, you know what? I'm interested in this. And from the time I was connected with a contact at Celebrity Cruises, it was 3.5 weeks before I was on board Celebrity Select. Yeah, for my first contract as an activity host with the goal of becoming cruise director. I was only 20, fresh, bright-eyed. These little wrinkles here, that was not a thing then.
That is so amazing to have that, like, to have that goal, and you've done it. Like, that's amazing.
That's so cool. It's been an amazing trip, and it's just opened my eyes to so much, and I really do miss it, and it's something that I will go back to in some capacity very, very soon.
Yeah. Was it kind of, if you went back and told yourself, was it what you thought this job was going to be like? Because I think when I look at cruise directors, I see them in the theatre, I see them around the ship, but that's like the tiniest part of the job from what I can gather.
You know what? It is and it isn't. I think every cruise director will say, first of all, it depends on the team that you're on and who you're with, and your team is everything. And, you know, there's a lot of management skills. I say it's more management skills than performance skills, but according to the guests, it's more performance skills than management skills, right? But you don't realize it until you see, oh, why is there no activity after the show ended? The show, why is this game show happening here? Why is X, Y, and Z going on? Or even just curating the actual performances themselves, like Liars Club, the Love and Marriage show, being able to perform, all that sort of stuff, right? It all intertwines. Is the job what I thought it was? No, I didn't realize at the time how much responsibility it was. Then I got that responsibility, and I think my first contract as cruise director, I'm not gonna lie, that was hard. I was
it seems like such an I don't know when or if cruise directors sleep. Gotta be honest.
Lots of espresso, and you know what it is? It's all about being visible. So you have to be out at certain times. And you always, my trick is when the show ends, I will definitely be there by the door to see you. It doesn't matter, come hell or high water, I will be there. Some cruise directors aren't like that. They have different contact points they use. But that's my number one biggest thing. I love seeing everyone before or after the show. And I'm always around the ship in the mornings on sea days. I will sometimes just take a walk with my coffee just to chit chat, see everyone, make sure everything's okay. I'll make sure I tell the other officers, hey, I'm going for a bit of a walk. If there's a reason I might need you, like let's say someone has an issue with a beverage package, someone wants a dining reservation, someone has a guest services complaint. That way I can at least be the bridge for them and help direct them to the right.
Being that kind of recognizable, friendly face, I think people like a lot. I mean,
absolutely,
it varies by cruise line a lot. I will say, like some cruise lines, if you showed me like a lineup, I couldn't tell you who the cruise director was at the end. But other ones, especially, I mean, on cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, where you do the kind of shows that are shown again, then you see their face absolutely everywhere. But I don't really notice that a cruise director's missing until I get to the end and people ask me, like, who was it? I have no idea. But a good one. And you will absolutely know. We have so many questions in here. I'm going to try and just throw some at you quickly, if that's okay. First one comes from Andrew, and he says, are guests different by age, or does age have little to do with what the guests enjoy? It's a good question.
Are guests more different by age? Does age have little to do with what guests enjoy? Age has a lot to do with what guests enjoy, Andrew. It has a lot. I'll tell you, depending on the cruise. So shorter cruise, this is generally shorter cruise, younger people. Longer cruise, older people. The longer the cruise, the more we have to spread out everything, and the more it's going to be about making sure that we don't put all of our cards on the table right away.
Okay. Right.
So it's about making sure that, okay, in the first couple of days, we're going to have, a really good show to start out the cruise. We're going to have a few different activities, and it's going to build slowly because remember, you build that community and that relationship as the voyage continues. So you don't want to start out a long cruise with a bunch of loud deck parties because an older clientele is not going to appreciate that. But we always check our data. So for example, we'll see who's coming, where they're coming from, how old they are, whether they're previous cruises or not. And we'll check all that information.
That's really cool.
Short answer is completely we cater that cruise, and I will build a cruise out weeks in advance. And then usually the cruise before, I'll be like, okay, now I can see who's coming, and I can say, we're going to change that game show. Maybe we won't do majority rules because it's too raunchy. Maybe we'll do the trivia instead, right? Yeah.
It makes me think of my 90s themed Marella cruise that I took recently because, I mean, it was people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, some people older, some people were quite young, but because it was such a short cruise, it was 3 days. There was no way you could do everything on the schedule because 3 things were happening at the same time, absolutely everywhere. I literally ran. There was a Busted tribute after the show, and I wanted to see Busted, so I ran. And I lost all of my friends, but I got there. I was the only one who saw it. But you wouldn't find that on if it was a 2-week cruise, you're not going to have to run to try and see everything.
No, but those 90s cruises were so good. And I think
so fun.
Explorer or Explorer 2?
I did Explorer 2 this time, but I did the first one on Discovery 2. So now I've collected all 4 of the Marella ships. But yeah, so much fun, but absolutely exhausting. By the end of that 3-day 90s cruise, I was like, I need like a 2-week other cruise to get over that one. But it was great.
Stay on for the subsequent one. And funny enough, I was cruise director of that ship right up until the pandemic.
Okay.
Too, but that was actually one of my favorite ships to work on. What a pleasure ship.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Marella. It was very interesting to see because we all had our flights back the next day. Ours was one of the latest ones, so we were on till like the early afternoon. So we saw the next guests come on, and the change was really stark. Who had been, everyone was like hungover asleep by the pool, and then these new guests get on, and they must have thought, what is this cruise? Until we all left, and then sighed of relief, I'm sure.
Do you know what it is, Emma? It's honestly a music festival type of crowd. That's kind of what I gathered that it was, and I never got to be cruise director for those cruises. I just
you would have loved it.
Worked out. Oh, I would have loved it. I mean, and I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, next question I've just seen pop up from Jim. Thank you, Jim, for my super chat. That one's glowing orange for me. Are the event times flexible?
Oh, good question.
So your events or generally the events?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do general events because most of the events are going to be, I'm going to have a hand in everything. So the timing is flexible. But I'll tell you, I mean, certain cruise directors and certain hotel directors, certain cruise lines, they have strict timing. Like they will say to you from head office, it does not matter. The show times are this and this.
Yeah.
When I worked for P&O Australia, they were in a habit of changing the show times every night, which
really?
I did not like that. But on board the previous cruise director, they had their system, not to discredit their system, but it wasn't very good. And I just thought people need a consistent show time. The only time it changes is if there's an overnight and we do one show.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, they are flexible, but you try not to move things around too much. Like I, for example, would say, okay, if shows are at 7 and 9, there will always be a game show at 8 in a central location so that people are able to flow from one part of the ship to the other. And then at that time, I'll also have an alternative, and there'll always be something at 10 or 10:15 or 10:30, either in the theater or on deck, to make sure that everybody has something that they've gotten to do in the evening. So to answer your question, Jim, yes, things are flexible. There are certain cruise lines that will put things through head office, and you have to put things through the app and all this stuff. The more corporate cruise lines will do that. But other cruise lines like Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, they leave that to us. They leave that to us. And P&O Australia, great for that.
I almost wish there was a way to see, the movement of everyone on these cruises. I would just love to see, because there's a big group coming from the theatre, everyone's going to dinner, everyone's coming back. I think it would be really cool to see that. But I don't think everyone would want to be trapped just so I could see where they were going at a certain time. Good question I saw from Tom and Dom, and they have asked...
Tom and Dom. Hi, Tom and Dom. Travel. So good to see you. I see you on Instagram all the time.
Me too. What is the biggest difference between British focused Marella and American cruise lines?
Great question. You know what? It has to do with the cultures of our own nations, right? So Americans have a very different style of entertainment. They like loud. They like glitzy.
Interactive. We don't like interactive so much.
Yeah, if I went onto Marella and started doing interactive stuff, they did not enjoy that. They don't want to they don't want to be pulled up on stage. They don't want.
I get that.
There's more reservation there, right? And you have to recognize that. For example, the Australian crowd, they want to join in on everything. They want to have a ton of fun. P&O Australia was an interesting animal to work with. The biggest difference in doing a British clientele, I would say, is that you're more reserved and the entertainment is a little more. Canadians have a dark sense of humor. So does the British clientele for the most part. But the thing is, being Canadian, I can relate to both the Britishisms.
Yeah.
Britishisms in the videos. Emma, there you go.
Thank you.
And I can also very well relate to the American audience being so close in proximity and culture.
That makes sense. John just says I have nothing to say, but thank you, John, anyway. Thanks for your super chat. Next question. I don't know the answer to this one. Do cruise directors select the guest entertainers, the people who come on?
Yeah. So our head offices usually send us guest acts. However, we have our preference. So we're not the ones going through the requests, dealing with agencies and stuff, because they're agencies that provide these acts to us.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely build a rapport. Like you would know, oh, so-and-so is coming aboard one cruise. Or I know there was one Christmas cruise. There was a group called the Pupini Sisters. They were 3 girls that were just this 40s, 50s style kind of swing kind of vibe. And
cool.
Oh my God, they were just impeccable. And I really, really, really wanted them for a Christmas cruise.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they weren't available to come. But I did get them a lot more than other ships did at that point, just because I put in the request and I said, I want these people. Mm-hmm. They're good for our clientele. They're good for our product on board. And it fits well with us.
That's so good, because I mean, you would be the person who knows out of anyone if people are liking it or not. Yeah. That's cool. I kind of just assumed you would just get told, like, oh, we've booked so and so for, the next year. I don't know, but that's cool.
But there's also been acts, and this is the dark side, the secret, everyone. Sometimes there are acts that come on board, and it happens very, very, very rarely, but they're bad or they're unkind to our team on board. And I have sent emails back where I've said, I do not want this person on my ship again. They were disrespectful, or they breached the guest conduct policy. They weren't kind to our team on board. And I have done that very rarely. Only twice in my career have I ever done that.
Yeah, you can tell if something is like that though. Like, it makes me think of one comedian I saw, and his entire set was about just how no one was enjoying it and no one was laughing. It's because it was terrible. And he was doing like pretend accents, pretending to be the crew and stuff. And I was like, that's really like, you wouldn't do that. It didn't fly. And you could tell, everyone was, not good. But that's the only time. Everything else on every other cruise, I've never thought that before.
It's it happens.
Of course it is. Statistically, it's going to happen. You have to take a chance on certain people and certain things, and things will work in one situation and completely not in the other. Like, I took this Virgin Voyages cruise, and a lot of the entertainment, I was like, not for me, but I can see how some other people would really like this. And I think especially some of the shows on Virgin, they're designed with the American participation in mind. And us Brits, when we were because the ship was start going around the UK, so they were all, they were geared up for Americans, but with only Brits on board, it was too awkward, some of the things. But Americans are loving it, absolutely loving it. So that they can.
You have to adapt. That's part of being in the travel sector. Traveling, even airlines, when you fly with, let's say the Toronto to New Delhi route is going to have a different staffing than Toronto to London. And the clientele is going to be different. But that's the same thing on a ship. If you're doing a 4-day Caribbean itinerary versus a 7-night Mediterranean itinerary, it's apples to oranges.
Very, very different. But that's what that is exactly what makes it fun. I think, exactly. I've done the same cruise on the same ship sometimes, completely different cruises, just based on where it's going and, what time of year and how expensive it was. It makes a big, big difference. Next question comes from Heather, and she says, in your role, how do you balance social burnout? Have a people-facing role, and it can still take a toll. I cannot even imagine. You just do it.
Yeah. You know what? I like you, Heather. It happens. It happens, girl.
Yeah. You if you're human, like at some point.
You have your releases and you have your rituals on board. For me, come hell or high water, I'm in the gym. That's it.
Yeah.
Gym.
You need
I'm going for a dance. My Bollywood dance class was my stress relief. And also, you have to be honest with people. So there's a level of customer service you have, but there's also, I'm the same person on stage as I am off. And I make that a big point, because if you're fake like that, it takes so much energy to
I would forget
that fake. Yeah. Well,
what am I like?
am I happy right now?
Like, did I? Yeah, exactly. I could not. It'd be doubly exhausting. But there's a lot of front facing time as the cruise director where you have, even if you're not feeling it, I guess it's your job at the end of the day, isn't it? You just go out there and.
It is, Emma, but also you have that assistant cruise director role too, that in many ways I view that as a person that is, if you're in an assistant cruise director position, there's going to be a bit of training involved, but you are ready to assume the role of cruise director at any point. And,
Mm-hmm.
you are a pseudo senior officer. And in many ways, I utilize my assistant cruise directors all the time where I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to split the duty with you. So some nights I'll be on the door saying goodbye, but maybe you'll be on stage for one of the shows or both of the shows, taking them off. And that's part of your partnership and how to utilize the team and how to make sure that not only are you mentoring and leading, but that you also give your team an opportunity to shine, because sometimes you just need a time to break. Like you just want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose, I mean, the teams are huge. I don't think people, because you don't see everyone, do you? You might see the same couple of people in the entertainment team, but you don't realize just the organization that goes on behind it. Sometimes I think about it and I just.
So I'll give you an interesting tidbit. I'll give everybody an interesting fact. So on some of Royal Caribbean ships or even Norwegian ships that have the Broadway shows, some of those ships, especially when they used to have DreamWorks on Royal Caribbean, you would have up to 4 different casts on the ship at the same time performing simultaneously. You'd have the Aqua cast, DreamWorks cast, the regular cast, and the Broadway cast. So
wow.
Yeah, you and that and sorry, 5 ice cast as well on Oasis class, because they have the ice. Yeah, so sorry, five casts on top of all of the production staff for all of those venues, all of the youth staff, all of the cruise staff. So, and that is not just what being cruise director is about. You also have to make sure that you're coordinating with all of the other officers on the ship and making sure people are having a good time and that you're the face of the ship. So that is, when I think of 5 casts, I'm like, one's a big cast, 18 people sometimes. You're like, whoa.
It's amazing. I have massive respect for anyone in any of those teams, because my goodness, I don't have any of those skills. I don't think, not for me. I'm so terrified. I've been on the stage in a theater once on a cruise ship, and that's when I did my original head shave on Marella Discovery 1, and all I had to do was sit still, and even still I didn't have like a Fitbit on or anything, but my heart, I thought I was gonna faint or be sick or everything at the same time. It was so scary. I can't imagine doing that, walking out onto that stage every night and seeing people there.
Oh my gosh, it's an empowering feeling. But listen, I've done it in a dress, so
well then, if you've done that every other day, it's just easy.
My heart will go on. Celine Dion impressions. It was a surprise performance on People in Australia. It's somewhere. I'm sure it's somewhere out.
Oh wow. Yeah, find it for me after this. That sounds really cool. We have Lizzie in here. Hello, Lizzie. Lizzie has a question, and she says, what is the biggest ship you've worked on, and do you prefer working on the big or the small ships? Good question, Lizzie.
Oh, Lizzie, my first contract was on Celebrity Silhouette. And that was as activity host, so as crew staff. It was only one of me. It was the first time that Celebrity had tried that out. And it was a lot of work, but man, there was something about working aboard a ship that you personally love. I had sailed on Celebrity Silhouette and Eclipse, both, and I've worked on those subsequent, one right after the other, and I'd sailed on them too. Those were the biggest ships I ever worked on, and they were just gorgeous. And you would be in port and just be like, I live there. Like that's she was gorgeous, the beautiful ships. Those were the largest I've ever worked on. Subsequently, my ships got smaller and smaller and smaller. So I went to work then on P&O Australia on Pacific Aria, which is the ex-Ryan Dam. So she's only about 55,000 tons. You're looking at 1,400 passengers. The benefit was there's not as much ship to cover. So you build this intimate relationship with people. Yeah. But you don't have bells and whistles. Yeah. And then I went kind of to mid-size with the Discovery class, the Explorer class of ships, about 80,000 tons for Marella Explorer. So that was the largest ship I was ever cruise director of. Yeah. Do I have a preference? I think I like the big ships with the bells and whistles. Yeah,
I do. But then also, I really like that size of the Marella ships. There's like 2,500 guests, because you get to know it quite fast. There's enough stuff. I don't really feel like I need like the go-karts and stuff on my cruise ships personally. I'll try them if they're there. But if it's just a regular cruise where I want to get off and do things, it's not like a make or break for me. But Silhouette is the ship that I did 2 cruises on that were totally the opposite. I did one which was over a weekend, and it was everyone was there for their birthday parties, like getting married. It was just drinking for 3 days. It went to Amsterdam and back. So that was, and that was my first celebrity cruise. And I knew that's not what celebrity cruises are.
Nope.
Just because I had, I had more research. But if that was somebody's first celebrity cruise, I don't know what they would have made of it. But I went back again and did a British Isles on it. Completely different. I mean, they had done a big refit on it, so it was cool to see like before and after. But in terms of who was on, night and day different. Both fantastic though. Both really good.
So tell me something then. When you cruised on Marella, those were X celebrity ships. The Explorer 2, it was the X X Century, and Explorer 1 is the X Galaxy.
Yep.
Did you find that those ships just? I felt that they didn't age at all. Like I felt like there were so many parts of them. I was like, this looks better than ships that are happen.
Yeah, so much. But then I suppose they haven't had them with Marella for that long. And when they did, the only thing that's from the late 90s is probably like the actual stuff you don't see. They've refit everything. Every carpet is new, isn't it? Every chair is new. Every bed is new. So the actual age, I don't think it makes a big difference. It is so much more about them doing the regular refits and looking after the ship so it's not broken. It was weird on Discovery because I watched the promotional videos when they came out for Royal Caribbean, and it was like, this is the biggest ship to ever sail, and now it's like a tiny little thing. But some things they hadn't changed. Like in the theatre, the seats are exactly the same, the pool's exactly the same. So it was really cool to see that. I quite like that. It's fun.
There are some things you can say, oh, this is quintessentially royal. Like I've seen this on Voyager class, for example. Like that's the same type of handle. That's the same color of door. The coral,
the funnel bar.
Exactly. But I also feel like as a cruise world, I'm like, of course we're gonna trade and whatever. And
yeah, I like it. I think it's brilliant that companies like that exist to take those ships, because some of them, I mean, we saw a lot in the pandemic, a lot of ships being scrapped that they're not that old. They definitely have, more life in them. So I'm all for secondhand.
So I think you're right, but some didn't. Some I think were ready to go. There were a few that I was like, oh, honey, like I worked on a couple.
Oh, it was like the CMV ships. I was like,
oh yeah, even Carnival's fantasy class. I worked on a few of those ships, and even when I was there a few years ago, I was like, oh, she's not really that happy to still be alive. Like she's ready to go into retirement.
Yeah, it's like put her out of her misery at this point. Like she's had a good life, but I see that. Thank you, Paula, for my super chat from Arizona. Oh my goodness, great show and great channel. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys too. I never planned on doing these live streams for as long as I did. I kind of came home from my job in 2020 in March, started it March 2020, and I thought we've all got more time. We'll do some live streams. I thought 2 weeks, because I thought we'd be at home for 2 weeks, genuinely, and I never stopped. So we're still here.
I love that. And by the way, I just wanted to say it's such an honor to be on here with you. I'm so sad I missed. Obviously, last week there was a bit of that issue with the time zones. My fault, totally my fault.
We've all done it. It confuses me so much, and I do it every single week. So. I'm not stressed.
But I'm honored to be here, and I'm so glad that we've connected. And I'm just to tell everyone, Emma and I wrote her an email, and she was so gracious enough to respond and take a liking to some of my content as well. So it's such an honor to be here, and thank you so much for having me, by the way.
You're very welcome. We did a podcast together, didn't we? And we basically were having this conversation afterwards, and I was thinking, this is very interesting. Why not just let 377 people watch it? So that's basically what we're doing here. Jenny says, do you have a YouTube channel? Please feel free to say anything you'd like to say about that podcast, website. Go. Go.
Yes, absolutely. Check it out. You froze there for a second, but yeah, cruisedirectorkabir.com. You can find links to absolutely everything, and I'm sure Emma is going to post this as well, and I will be posting you.
It should be in the description, unless I didn't copy it right, but it should be there.
It probably is.
Next question, and it says, how much do the guest surveys influence the cruise? That's a good question. I always make an effort to try and remember people's names, write them down and stuff, but do you see them from the other side?
Yes. Okay, so this is a misconception. So when you get like a customer service survey, you're like, oh, whatever. We see every response. It goes to a company called Medallia. You'll notice a lot of your company surveys. Look at the bottom. A lot of those surveys are from Medallia. They're a great company. They'll curate everything. Our own representatives will then put it into an Excel spreadsheet, and it's divided by department. Each head of department goes in to see their respective comments. And then we have ourselves or one of our team make sure that we not only respond to them if it's while someone's on board the cruise, but if it's the end of cruise survey, we see every single comment. It could, I've seen tons. I've seen amazing things like them shouting out specific performers. Sometimes the cast will go around and they'll get nice recognition. Sometimes, members of our bar staff and wait staff, it's so important they get recognized. I've had positive ones. I've had a few that said, oh, Cruise Director Kabir talks too much. And I'm like, well, it's my job to talk, but
yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Well, you meet a lot of people. There's no way you're never going to please everyone all the time.
Absolutely. But
that's good to know that it makes an effort. I'm always keeping like a note on my phone to try and, I can't remember anyone's names for the life of me. So writing down, try and get the spelling right and things. So I'm glad.
And we go through, and as the cruise is going, I will change and I will modify and I will go through and change things throughout the cruise. And if there's a big comment that says like, we didn't like the jokes in Liars Club or whatever, we'll go through and say, oh, what did they mean by that? Did that come up a few times? If it did, maybe we should reevaluate.
Yeah, everyone said no, then you're like, maybe not. That's so useful that you have that feedback. Yeah, I think it makes it so much easier now when it's an email, everyone can fill out the form. But if this was, in the past, it would have been so much harder because people are often nice, to you, aren't they? Wouldn't say anything on board and then they get home and say certain things.
Yeah, and it's so helpful because every single cruise line, I can guarantee you, goes through those surveys. It gets sent right to the onboard team. It gets sent to shoreside and we implement and we change 100%.
Yeah, I sent one, like a very in-depth one once. And then I had, how everyone can message each other now on Facebook and things. I had a message being like, oh, I got promoted to, I can't remember what job he wanted, but your letter massively helped. So it genuinely does help.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people think that it just goes into like statistics and in a pile, but it doesn't. So keep doing it, people. I'm sure everybody is. Next question comes from Ben, and he says, how much time do you normally get off between your contracts? As long as you want, I would guess, if you don't want to go back.
Yeah. For example, right now I'm not employed by a cruise line. I'm working at home and I'm working on my travel blogging and YouTubing and that sort of stuff, creating great content. And I'm also on TV. I'm a weather host in Canada. So if you ever come get Canadian, if you get Canadian, come check me out. How much time did I used to get off? So generally cruise directors are on for 3 or 4 months. We're off for between 6 weeks and 2 months. Personally, I used to do shorter contracts. I liked it to be 3 months on, 2 months off. I think if I go back, even in a part-time capacity, it's not going to be a 4 and 2 type of rotation. Usually it's 4 on 2 off, but they're willing to work with you. And especially if you're not tied to a ship, if you're not saying, I want to be a regular on this ship, I want to go to this. If you're not specific like that, I'm like, I want to be a substitute teacher, put me in for a few weeks, whatever, then things definitely change.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, I imagine some people are like, if you've been on one ship for a while, you just say, this is what I want. And you go wherever the ship goes, I suppose, if that's what you want. But it's that's cool. I mean, exhausting, I think. But yeah.
It can be, but you nap.
A question from Alistair. Hello, Alistair. And he says, what would be your dream cruise director gig? And any place, any place in the world you'd want to go? Any ships, anything? It's your dream. You can have anything you want.
Oh, there's going to be an announcement very soon, Emma, and I'm going to.
Oh, is it the dream?
It's the dream is coming true because I did. I do have a favorite cruise line. I love Celebrity Cruises. They're my favorite company, and I don't want to say anything too soon, but there is the potential to have a little bit of a collaboration with Celebrity coming up very soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed if they're watching. Love you guys. Great. And my dream would honestly be to be cruise director for a cruise line like Celebrity, ideally in the Med. So that's what I'm hoping for in a more flexible capacity. I am married. Actually, today's my first anniversary.
Oh, I saw it earlier. I liked it. I saw it go by. I clicked on your husband's profile, looked at some of the pictures. I've done the internet stalking today. But yes, congratulations. I think if everyone in the comments tells celebrity that this is what you want to do, we should be able to get you there. I know the cruise boys who are in the chat, they're on Beyond in right now. So
please let them know. Cruise Director Kabir.
Yes, come on, guys. Everyone says happy anniversary from Ben and Tom and Dom and Kat. Yes. We have a question from Jim, and I can't pronounce this word, Jim. I'm not going to try. I can't say that word. But is being a cruise director like being stage management in a theatre?
Yes. Okay. Good question. No, completely different. So the stage manager is the stage manager. So we have a dedicated stage manager that's in my my own department. Oh, this is such cute comments.
So many. I'll just flick through.
Aw, thanks, Tony. But yeah, no. So we have dedicated stage managers and people that are trained in that. So I'm not a trained stage manager. I'm not actually trained in terms of the technical elements of the theater. We have a production manager, and then usually alongside the same rank or slightly under a second in command is the stage manager. Both critical roles in terms of safety as well. Huge safety component for our performers there as well. So they have a lot of safety protocols to follow. Yeah.
Just so many nice comments coming in. All of these happy birthdays. Lots of fans of celebrity in the comments. Tim wants to know where do you do the weather? Where can we watch your weather?
Oh, Tim. So I do the weather it's called the Weather Network in Toronto. And it goes nationally across the country. So you can see sometimes I pop up on the weathernetwork.com or on CBC. So if you guys get CBC News Network, some of you might, depending on the TV system that you have. I'm there almost every morning between 6 a.m. and about 10 a.m. I was up this morning at 3:15 a.m. Toronto time to be at work at 4:30.
That you're basically just on UK time. Everyone else in Canada is just living a different time zone, but you're up probably when I got up.
Yeah, I mean, legitimately, I'm eyeing my bed a little bit now because I'm like, it's going to be nap time, and then my anniversary dinner is tonight, so that'll.
Oh well, that sounds fun. We have a question again from Tim. Tim, I didn't pick Tim again, but it's Tim again. Have you ever had a strange request from a customer?
Yes, I have. I got once a message from a guest that was on board the ship to my cruise director Facebook page asking for feet pictures.
Oh, okay.
There was that, and I just did not respond to it because I was like,
that's awkward because they know where to. They could find you on the cruise. So I get a lot of weird messages on the internet, but at least it's like it's a step away.
I knew who they were. So I'm sitting there going,
okay.
Like I didn't see the message. That's it. Like, but legitimately the weirdest request. And I mean, feel free to send an angry comment as well, because I have this one thing that it always plays in my mind. Sometimes we get comments from guests that the music in the theater is too loud. But my view is, if you're going to the theater to watch the show,
that's where you sit as well.
Exactly. So if you know you don't like it to be loud, just don't sit near the front. And the other thing is, 100%. And I point out on the first night, every cruise, I'm like, so just so everybody knows, production shows are going to be here 7 and 9, and there are speakers lining the entire base of the stage, and also see them there, and there's a set toward the back. So don't sit near them. Sit further to the back or to the middle. And then we get comments that'll say, "Oh, it's too loud," and I'm like, okay. So I'll turn it down slightly. I will turn it down, but only marginally, because we also, we have to.
You don't want people otherwise the people at the back could be like, I can't hear it, it's too quiet.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I went to the theatre recently in London, and our seats were right by the speakers, like bigger than me. But I mean, people do bring earplugs to the theatre. Like if that's something that you want to sit near the front, but you don't want to hear, that's quite normal. I went to a concert recently and someone had like earrings with like earplugs on them. So you just put them in. Genius. Then you don't have to think about it. You just have them in your ears the whole time.
Oh, 100%. And Michelle, I'm glad you bring the earplugs. Of course, we engineer the show so that, we hope you don't have to use them because they're engineered a specific way. But if you ever sail with me, you let me know and I will take care of it. Make sure you sit somewhere where you don't need earplugs and you get to enjoy the show.
Yeah. We have a question from Dale, and this can be a bit of a controversial one. So please feel free to answer however you'd like to answer it. But he says, should we tip the entertainment staff? Have heard different opinions on the topic. I'm happy to give my opinion. You can give your opinion, but it is our opinion at the end of the day.
Yeah, Dale, I think, you know, I'm not a big proponent of tipping culture. I understand that on ships, especially certain cruise lines, they're very tip focused. Marella, for example, and P&O Australia, they're not a tipping culture. American cruise lines are, Celebrity, Royal, Carnival, Norwegian, and the higher end cruise lines are usually tipping culture. Viking, again, they're not, they don't have a tipping culture. Nope. It depends on what you feel and, you know, do the entertainers usually get tipped? The answer is no. They're not generally the ones that receive tips. But if you feel that someone really went above and beyond and made a difference to your holiday, I mean, you do what feels right for you, and everybody has kind of their preference on that. So I don't think I would say a resounding yes or no, but they're not the ones to receive tips.
That's always the way. There's no real answer to this to the question. I personally, you know, if a cruise line has tips included, like Marella, like P&O, fantastic. That's how I want to pay for things. I want to know the price I pay it. If it's an American cruise line where they add on gratuities, I just see that as the cruise fare. They're just doing it in a weird way. I just pay the auto gratuities. Then if someone does, you know, if the cabin steward is particularly nice or someone's particularly done something for you, sure, tip extra, but I don't think you need to feel like you have to tip if you've already done what's included as the tips. But it's very different in the UK versus the US. Here we don't tip in that kind of way. We're not used to, you know, getting a drink. I mean, we don't have £1 notes, so it would be really weird to give someone like a £1 coin. So we're not used to it. It's not the way we do things here. But if no one's going to ever get offended or annoyed if you do want to give them a tip, you know.
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, they're not. And I think that's the thing of you know, we have a multinational crew, and thanks, Dale. We have a multinational crew, and certain nationalities are akin to it. Certain ones are not. Certain positions are akin to it. Certain ones are not. More service positions, that's kind of, it comes to the territory. Bar staff, some of their salary is tipped. But what I do appreciate is the cruise lines that don't necessarily have those gratuities included. The salaries are quite good, but then it puts a cap on the earning potential for those particular crew members. Yeah. So it does go either way. And sometimes those positions, whether the tips are included or not, will receive tips regardless. So it depends.
Yeah, it's a really tricky question. But Dale, there's our answers. I hope that is helpful. A question from Julie, and this is a great question because she said, how good are the shows on Marella? And I have to say, of all the cruise lines, Marella are my favorite. And people don't expect me to say that. They expect me to say, you know, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and those shows are great. But like, if you go on a Royal Caribbean cruise, there's one thing that they do really a great show, and they do it well. But on Marella, every time I've ever been on Marella cruise, every night there's a different show, and it's amazing. And I like the routine of like dinner, show, something different every day, and that's really good. Like,
Emma, I don't know if you know this or not, and I don't know if anybody else knows this or not. Our cast at Marella would perform. They know 12 different shows over a 14-day cycle.
That's crazy.
It's impeccable. I think in many ways it's one of the best entertainment products out there on a ship, especially bang for buck, because these are Broadway grade performers. They're great performers. They really are hardworking teams that work so hard to perform 12 different shows every night. It's insane how they don't get confused. No. I honestly don't know.
If my life depended on learning one song from one show, I would just, I don't think I could do it. But yeah, I did a 2-week Marella cruise, and every single day something was different. There were maybe 2 days where we had only, you know, some people had the time off, one person did something, but even still, you know, they at least did 10 shows each. And they're the type of shows I like. Like, I like a show that has songs I know, a story I can follow. Some cruise lines are quite abstract with their entertainment, and I just like to be able to sing along and see colors and costumes. I think, of course, it depends what you like. But for me, if you ask me who my favorite entertainment is, Marella, hands down.
We could never.
John says, Can we get a like from all 400 people watching? That would be very cool if we could do that.
Yes, John.
Everyone is impressed with 12 shows. Whew.
Yeah.
Everyone's asking me about my
our
squad.
costumes, so we would never have room for our costumes. There's way too many costumes.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. I just love that. Like I think I'm just quite visual, and I just like to see set moving and colors and stuff. And Tom and Dom agree. Marella are our favorite for entertainment. Good. Yeah, I think they don't get too much publicity about it, but I think they should get more. So I try with my my space here. Oh, my dad is commenting. It is my dad's birthday today. He says, a great guest. There you go. Got my dad's approval. Hope to see you on a ship soon. Oh, that would be very cool. Yes, please. If your plan works out, which hopefully we'll be able to get your plan to work out, I will be there. Absolutely. Especially if you come over to the Med, that I can go there anytime. That's super easy. Tim says, did you have to participate in any of the shows as the cruise director?
You know what? On Marella, yes, but not in a singing and dancing capacity. That was just there's this one show. And Emma, you've probably seen it. It was like a Motown show. I forgot what it was called. But basically, I act as like the host of this award show.
Yes. Yeah. And it flicks through, and you have to guess which one wins. I remember doing that with my dad, and I didn't win, but yeah, I remember.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, is it this? Is it? And so then I would start off the show, and then I would have to, around 3/4 of the way through, be at the back of the theater on the port side and walk down the stairs to the stage, and then walk up to the stage and backstage to exit, and then come out. It was a whole thing.
That does sound like a lot. People, my super chat. I get very nervous when I get super chats that tell me to shout out things, because I've had a couple of these that try and catch me out and make me say something that sounds rude. This seems okay, right? I can say this. You want to know if they sail to South Africa? I haven't cruised in South Africa. I don't know which cruise lines are there. Mostly big American cruise lines, right? But hello.
I'm not sure. MSC has a presence there for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah, MSC did. I'm not sure about the American lines, actually. I'd have to check. You've got me stumped. I'm going to Google it.
We can find out. Yeah. It has nearly been an hour. This is always the fastest hour of the week, this live stream, because I think I don't even have time to sort of think about time, so it goes super, super fast. But I'll give you a second if you would like to tell people where they can follow you. Links in the description to your channel. But say whatever you would like. You're free.
I'm free. Well, okay. Well, this was an absolute pleasure to be here, and I just had a great time. So if you want to follow some of my stuff, I've got flight reviews, ship reviews, and some nice travel videos coming out. Actually, cabin tour of Viking Octanus is coming out.
We didn't even get to talk about the Viking thing. Oh, we'll have to do this again sometime, because
absolutely.
I'm so envious. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to. But if you want to watch my video tour of Viking Octantis, coolest ship I've ever sailed on, one of my favorite ships to sail on, that's on my YouTube channel, which is Travel with Kabir CD. You can get a link to absolutely everything, not only in the description here, but if you go to cruisedirectorkabir.com, you'll be able to see all of my links. Also, on Instagram, it's at Kabir Bulgaria. So you'll see that. And hopefully give me a follow, give me a like, and you'll see Emma and I on here again very soon.
Yeah, if you're following me on Instagram or anywhere, I try and tag, when we have guests and things. So hopefully you can follow. Thank you very much. This has been so much fun. I'm glad we managed to make this work. And I think, you and me, I think we could talk for I don't know how many more hours, but we keep these to 1 hour per week. I think that's a good amount for our live streams, and you can go and have a nap now. But so many lovely comments in here saying that they really enjoyed this chat, and thank you to us leaving this to check out your stuff. There we go. That's perfect. That's what we want. Head over and check out that Viking video, because I'm so envious. It's amazing. Okay, that is it from us. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for everything. And I will be back same time next week, so 5 p.m. UK time on Friday. You should do this again. We haven't even finished this one, and we already have requests for the next one. That's a good sign. We will do this again. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for joining us.